And so now is the time to focus on growth. Now is the time to focus on getting out there in the community, opening up new farms, opening up new relationships, getting out there and meeting new people, joining new organizations. Now is the time to do that. But guess what? This is the absolute hardest time to do those things because we're not going to see the reward. We're going to say, man, back in 2021, when I joined a new group, I got deals almost immediately. Or when I started farming a new neighborhood, I got deals almost immediately. And now I'm not getting that. That's okay. Again, we're planting the seeds to ride the wave back up. But now is absolutely the time that you have to stay focused on planting those seeds, building those new relationships, even though there is no immediate reward. And that's where mindset comes into play.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode number 3 of Behind the Scenes with LPT Realty. In this series, AJ and I take you behind the scenes with LPT Realty and our CEO, Robert Palmer, as he discusses a lot of things going on in the real estate market, things going on with LPT Realty, and just overall the talking points that you need to have intelligent conversations with your customers to stand out as the expert in the field. We're really excited to take you through this episode. There's some really cool updates that we're going to bring you guys, and we're going to get started right after this. My name is Mark Ammons.
I'm AJ Ackerman.
And we are Elevated Agents. All right, guys, welcome back to Behind the Scenes with LPT Realty. Excited for today as we're taking you guys through some of the topics that we discussed in our most recent Motivational Monday with Robert Palmer. Again, this is a call that we do every single week with Robert. Every Monday at 10 a.m., Robert goes live with us no matter where he's at in the country and just brings a ton of value of things that we need to know about what's going on at the company, new tools and resources that have been rolled out to us as agents, things going on out in the real estate market, in the mortgage industry, and just really making sure that we're up to date and we're the subject matter experts when it comes to real estate. So one of the first things we want to talk about today is really just kind of a shout out to a lot of our fellow LPT agents. We've been very fortunate to have some amazing agents across the country partner with us here at LPT Realty that just go out and do amazing things in their individual markets. And so we want to highlight a lot of those agents today who have won some recent awards. LPT had some at the Orpies in Orlando. We had some in Northern Nevada, as well as the Florida Association of Realtors. So we're going to let Robert kind of take that away and just give a shout out to these very deserving agents who are doing amazing things, and just know that we're very proud to be partnering with you and look forward to giving you a little bit of a shout out here.
Yeah, so obviously we're based here in Orlando, Central Florida area. So Orpies is the Orlando Real Producers Yearly Awards, put on by a good friend of mine, Aaron Luden. He was one of the early publishers of the Real Producers brand. I remember he came to me and said, man, I got this idea. I'm trying to do this new magazine, this real producers thing. And at the time, I was just in mortgage, I think mortgage title, other stuff. We were not, LPT obviously wasn't around yet. Listing Power Tools was just getting going. This was like 2015, 16. And I said, well, how much do you need to fund this thing up so it can work? And he gave me the number, and I said, fine, I will buy the back cover from you for that amount of money, so that he knew he could launch that thing and never have to worry about whether or not it was going to break even. And he's done an amazing job with it. He's built it out to be an amazing business. And really, really proud of his success. And so last year, LPT got the Tidal Wave Award because we came in with like a tidal wave sweeping everybody up in it here in Orlando. And so then again, this year we were back at the Orpies last week. We had a bunch of LPT agents nominated for different awards. We had a couple of our finalists actually take the awards home. They interviewed me on the red carpet beforehand, which was pretty cool. And they tried to get out of me who our state expansion is going to be, and I would not give it up. But we're going to play that video. Before we do, again, if something I say in that video makes you want to guess a person or a state, please keep it to yourself. We will be announcing it at the end of the Zoom today. But anyway, we've got really, really big agents, really big teams committed in states across the country, and it's exciting. And so I made a comment about that in this interview, but we're gonna roll that here, right. Davey, when you're ready.
Welcome back to the Orpies 2023 live edition. We have a real special guest with us who's probably going to take home most of the hardware this evening. Who do we got here?
Robert Palmer. What's up, guys? LPT Realty is in the house tonight.
We gotta love it, LPT. I just saw a shirt go by here, and I was like, "Hey, how do I get some of that swag?"
Electric, is that?
LPT blue.
Yeah, it's a branding move, man. You're always on point with your branding.
Love it, love it. So, how many Orpies have you been a part of?
This is my second. New to the game. So we got the Tidal Wave Award last year for kicking off LPT, and I think we were probably at I don't know, maybe at 1,000, maybe 1,500 agents this time last year, something like that.
And where are you at now?
5,500.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
What is that, like 4X in crypto talk?
it's pretty good. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
incredible.
We're going for the 10 bag.
How many agents here locally are up for awards with LPT?
I think we had about 8, 9. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Love that you're here to support them too, because you could be all over the place. So where are you? LPT, is it outside of Florida yet?
Yeah, we're in 7 states. We're launching our 8th state actually on Monday, and we're announcing that Monday, which is big. We have the #1 team in that state coming to kind of kick us off. That'll be our second time. We did that same move in Nevada with the #1 team in Nevada coming over to launch Nevada for us. So that's a pretty big power move, and it's been fun to do.
Can we get an exclusive? You want to drop that now?
I can't do it, man. It's going to be exclusive on my Motivation Monday Zoom Monday morning at 10 for all of our agents.
Can we get a soda tonic over here so we can get this exclusive?
Yeah, check back on me in like 2 hours. Maybe I'll spill.
we all know you spill.
We did not spill. But it was a great night. And so 2 of our agents, so we had a lot of finalists, and we had a lot of agents in the top 500, but we had 2 agents actually take home awards. Matt Buckley was one of the 35 under 35 winners.
Awesome.
And then Matt
Agent
Hughes,
001.
which I think we have a picture of Matt with his award. Matt Hughes got the Rising, was it
Rising Star Award,
Rising
yeah.
Star Award. So there he is with his Orpie Award. So congratulations, Matt Hughes.
Yeah.
And again, great time. A lot of LPT agents were running around at the Orpies. That was really cool. And then also our friends out in Nevada.
That's right. Before you say something real quick, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that Matts are making a comeback. You
Matts.
see all the
Yes,
Matt winning
so
that was
many-
happening right there.
So many Matts winning. Yeah, Matt Buckley, Matt Hughes, Matt Hodge
Hodge.
is always winning.
Yeah.
Matt Levy was running around in his crazy pants, pulling a lot of attention at the Orpies, which was fantastic. And then Davey won too, which I didn't even know. I guess Davey Stewart, who runs all of our production here. So he is, we claim him, while he's officially not an agent at LPT, he is 100% a part of the LPT family. He got the Content Creator Award at the
That's
Orpies
right.
as well. And it's amazing because he took all the pictures and all the video, and he has none of himself winning his award. And I'm like, Davey, like, what's up, man? We want to put you on screen. Like, congratulations. That's awesome. You are unofficially part of the LPT family, even though you're not an agent with us. And because he's with us, goes everywhere with us. He's going to LA with us. He was in Texas with us. But yeah, so Davey got the Content Creator Award, but he has no
awesome.
content of himself winning
yeah.
that award.
The man behind the
Which was
camera.
a total miss. But yeah, congratulations, Davey Stewart. If we don't have a camera to put on him now, he's just really good at staying behind the camera. He actually filmed that interview that we just played. He was behind the camera there. So yeah, really exciting, Davey. And so that was a big win at the Orpies. LPT definitely representing and showing up. Oh, here he comes. Come on, Davey, get in there.
There he is. There he is.
The one and only Davey Stewart. All right, so then moving over to the other coast, in Northern Nevada, the Northern Nevada Women's Council of Realtors had their awards ceremony, and they announced their top 25 realtors in Northern Nevada, and 6 of them are LPT agents. So almost a quarter of the top 25 agents with WCR in Northern Nevada are LPT agents. Could we get a picture of that up, Davey? Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
that's right.
So
Awesome.
congratulations to the entire group there from Northern Nevada representing big and taking home, again, almost a quarter of the top 25 is LPT. Yeah, go ahead and read the names off, man. Let's give
Okay,
them a
so
shout
we've
out.
got Kathy Courtney, we've got Angelica Reyes, we've got Megan Hong, Brent Copeland, and Justice Vaughn, and Tyler Cornu.
All right, big round of applause
that's right.
to those agents out there representing big. And then one more. We already mentioned this award briefly, but I do want to revisit it for a couple of reasons. We had our own Mary Colgan win Florida Realtor of the Year, I guess.
Yeah, Realtor of the Year.
Realtor of the Year. And so this was a picture. And so we took this picture at the Florida Realtors Association where Mary won that award. And you'll see there's me smiling next to Mary. And then in the right side of the photo is Mike McGraw. So Mike is the current president of the Florida Association of Realtors. And, Mike has been working really hard this year. He put on the entire, Florida Realtors event, put on an amazing show. He's been a great president currently for Florida Realtors. And now that event is over, Mike has decided to make another big decision in his life, and Mike is coming to LPT. So Mike
right.
McGraw, the current president of Florida Realtors, is leaving the balloon brokerage and joining LPT. and he announced this morning.
Yeah,
So that's really
awesome.
exciting. So
That is awesome.
we have Mike McGraw coming over, and again, I want to get that picture back up. So again, congratulations to Mary, and welcome Mike from that picture.
right.
If you have an agent who's doing amazing things like this in their community, winning these types of awards, please shoot us a ticket through the executive ticket bucket, because we want to highlight that here on Motivation Monday.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
find out about a lot of these, but there's a lot of associations, there's a lot of awards. So if you know someone who's doing something amazing like that, please shoot us a picture inside the ticket, shoot us a ticket, and we would love to congratulate them here on Motivation Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, coming from the same brand formerly that Mike McGraw came from, we have one of their top teams in the state, the Duncan Duo over in Tampa, announced on Friday. I went down to their office. That was exciting. Andrew Duncan, big TV advertiser, the official realtor of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
And again, getting a lot of radio, a lot of billboards, a lot of TV. You know, we vibed talking about marketing and a lot of the strategies I've used in building, RP funding and things he's doing with Duncan Duo. So the Duncan Duo team came over. It was really cool. They have a Lightning jersey with 250 as the number on the back for the first year that they broke $250 million in sales as a team. And so obviously $250 million a year is a massive accomplishment. So again, we've got some really big teams that are making the move here to LPT. A lot of movers and shakers in the industry. Again, association presidents. We've got Kathy Trevino, who's the current chair of Houston Association of Realtors, is our state broker for Texas. Mike McGraw joining us, who's president of Florida Realtors. We've got a quarter of the top 25 WCR agents in Northern Nevada. We've got other board of directors members. It really is amazing. LPT is making waves, and we're pulling a lot of amazing folks. We've got great people across the entire ecosystem here, and so we want to share those wins with you guys, because it does feel good when we're winning, and we all like to win together.
You know what I really love, Mark, is that we continue to watch leaders in the real estate industry joining LPT, and people rise to the occasion that are with LPT. So it was really awesome for Robert to share some of the big wins that they've had in Orlando, but showing some of the big wins, like you said, in Nevada and in other parts. And watching the president of NAR coming over in Florida was actually a really cool thing. So that was really awesome, and it's fun to continue to watch more and more leaders joining us and helping us grow. The next part, and this is one of the things that I love about what Robert does, and he talks about mindset pretty much almost every Monday a little bit.
Which should tell you something, right? When you've got a very successful business leader who spends a lot of time talking about mindset, it does kind of reinforce just how important it really is.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, how many times have you heard an agent talk about how the market is tough right now? Listen, there's always something to complain about the market, and mindset is the first place to go. Everything starts with our thoughts. And so we're going to go ahead and let our fearless leader, Robert Palmer, tell you a little bit about what he thinks our mindset should be during this tough market.
But one of the things we want to talk about this morning is how you push through and how you continue to work and grind when maybe you're not winning, or maybe when it doesn't feel like you're winning. Because look, this is a very tough business, right? There are ups and downs, and there are nights where you can go win that amazing award, and then you can turn around and have a terrible week, where you have maybe your lowest number of new Mets, or your lowest number of new contracts, or a tough month. And we want to take a minute today to talk about that. Strategies you can use, strategies I use, to push through those tough times, because we can't win all the time. It is absolutely impossible, especially in a business like this. So, Hodge, I will let you kick off this next segment here as we get into some mindset stuff.
Absolutely. So, we look at all the accomplishments that we've been able to have over the last couple of years, and, we highlight a lot of those. And, to some people, they may think, oh, all you guys do is win, right? Because that's what we're talking about. But a lot of people don't realize there are times where, we are all connected by the same emotions, right? Where you're nervous, or you're scared, or, you're fearful, or something like that. And it's important to know that the majority, by nature, humans are going to make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. And so the reason why I bring that up is because genuinely the things that give you the biggest leg ahead, that make the biggest impact to your business, are the things that you don't want to do. It's the things that you're scared of. It's the things that give you the anxiety. It is all those things, and those are the things that make the big impact. And so when you look at someone like you, Robert, who, it seems like you just grow $1 million businesses out of like overnight, it seems like all you do is win. People don't understand what the sacrifice and what it looks like behind the scenes. And so again, just to kind of get us on the conceptual playing field, we are by nature making decisions based on how we feel in the moment. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing this. I'm scared, so I didn't do this. I was angry. I was jealous. I was happy. You're making decisions based on how you feel. And so what does it feel like when no one is cheering for you? When before all the work goes in to give someone to cheer about, what do you do? What do you anchor yourself in, and how do you push yourself forward when no one is cheering?
Yeah, so a couple of things. Like one, and this is a big one. Actually, this is like a lot of things I'm talking to Reagan about right now. She's 6, but still trying to lay that right foundation. Yeah. No one decides how you're going to react to something but you. You are in control of our emotions. Like we can learn to control our emotions. We can take control of our emotions. Sometimes it is harder than others. There are things that happen that are much more impactful, where it can be really hard or almost impossible to control those emotions. There are other smaller things where it's easier to control our emotions, but that's a big thing. We really have to make a conscious effort to say, hey, I am going to try to take control of my emotions. I'm going to take control of how I react to something, because that is a choice I make. I don't control what somebody else does to me. I don't control to the negative things someone's going to say about me behind my back, or post about me on social media, or attack someone else for aligning with me or whatever. It's like I can't control those things, but I can control the way I choose to react to them. But it's not easy, right? Because we are emotional creatures. Like human nature is to let the emotion take control. And, so Reagan and I recently watched the movie Inside Out, which is all about this. If you haven't seen Inside Out, even though it's a kid's movie, I would recommend watch it. Animated cartoon about this girl who, her emotions are driving around inside of her brain, making her, her do things. And, again, when you can think about it that way, and Reagan says, yeah, Dad, you just got to push our emotions in the memory dump sometimes and take control. Whether that means count to 10 or whatever you're going to do. And like, this is, again, things we're trying to teach Reagan at 6 to say, hey, take a deep breath, count to 10. Again, I don't want you to not have emotions, but I want you to recognize that you can take control of them. You can decide the severity with which you're going to let the emotions react. Because if we just let our emotions take complete control, we may make some decisions that aren't the absolute best for where we're trying to get. And so that's the first thing, is kind of consciously being aware of, I want to control, or I want to at least be conscious of how I am going to react to things emotionally. And then once you can kind of get control of that emotions, you can say, hey, now I got to figure out how to push through. Because, yeah, look, you can ride high. And one of the things that makes it even harder is, like, once you do start to win and you get those feelings, now the slumps get even harder. Like,
Right.
you've never had them. Like, driving up to that first big win, I feel like it's easier to stay focused. And then you win and you get that feeling and you're like, hey, I'm on top of the world. But then, look, there's always a hangover. There's always a crash. Like, we can't win awards every single day. We can't set records every single day. It's just not possible.
Right.
And so then you hit that milestone, and then you come down the other side. And it can be tough. Again, it's that hangover type feel. It's that crash, that coming down from the win feeling. But we have to keep doing the things we're going to do, or we won't ever get that win again.
That's right.
Because it was all the hard work and struggles that we went through to get to that first win that then are going to take us to the next win. And that's tough. You got to push through. And you got to recognize that, people are not always going to cheer for you. People who you would think would be happy for your success, a lot of times are not going to be. It's an unfortunate thing. Like, jealousy is real, envy is real. These are all, again, other emotions that other people may not know how to control. And so I think just really understanding that I'm going to push through. I'm going to recognize that the wins will come. And look, and we are in a cyclical business. I'll tell you this, and this is something that one of the greatest lessons the mortgage industry taught me, because it is even more cyclical. Like, the ups and downs at scale in mortgage is way more volatile than real estate, because of the refi piece. The refi piece will cycle much more dramatically. It is absolute booms and busts, these massive high peaks where you're on top of the world, and then these massive troughs where when rates are up, like the one we're in right now, refi business is down dramatically more than real estate business is. And I've been through 4 or 5 of these cycles. And, having to understand that. And so, like, the first one, as I'm riding the wave up, I think I'm the smartest guy, like, ever. Like, I'm like, man, I am a genius. Like, I can't do anything wrong. Every
are pretty
decision
smart,
I'm
though.
making is 100% working right now. Like I write a terrible ad and the phone rings. I'm untouchable. And a lot of that was literally, I was riding this massive boom up. And we as an industry in the real estate side now, we rode one of the biggest ones of those ever through 20 and 21.
Yep.
And where usually real estate doesn't have quite as big of those ups, we had it in 20 and 21. And we don't usually get as many downs. We had one in '08. We're having one right now. The one we're having right now only feels as bad as it does because how good 20 and 21 is. And so it's like in 20 and 21, you could do no wrong. Like, it didn't matter how terrible the idea was, just getting out of bed, you were going to trip over business, right? And I went through that in my first refi boom on the mortgage side. And then all of a sudden, like, you peak and then you come down the other side, and all of those things that were working so wonderfully that made me think I was a genius are all of a sudden just failing. And it's all just shot. Like, nothing's working. The phone won't ring. I can't get enough deals. Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing all the same things I was doing that was working before, and now it's not working. And again, this is the ups and downs of the cycles. And so when you take into account the fact that we do control how hard we work, and so if we're working harder or not, that is an impact. But then you throw the cycles on top of that, and the cycles can either make you think you're doing better than you are or worse than you are. And we have to be very conscious to level this out and recognize to say, you know what, we are in a down cycle right now. You know, in the way I think about it, a kind of traditional market is somewhere around that 5.25 million sales mark a year. And we got up way above that in 20 and 21, and now we're below that. We're probably going to do 4.5, maybe a little less this year with where rates are. Like, that's a decent trough. The bigger problem is we added enough new agents to the industry to keep up with that 6 million plus pace we were doing in 20 to 21, like that peak 12 months in the middle, not the year, but like that 12-month run in the middle where it was like on fire. And so now we have more agents with even less sales. So even though it's a more normal market, the number of competition, the number of pure bodies out there competing for the same number of listings and sales is more out of whack than it traditionally is, which makes it feel even worse. And so what you have to recognize is, hey, I'm in a market where sales are lower, and the number of sales per realtor in the country is at like an all-time skew right now if you look at how many realtors there are and how many home sales there will be this year. And so your efforts are not going to yield as much result immediately. But you have to stay focused, because the seeds you plant today will be the success you see coming out the other side.
That's right.
Because we don't need to go all the way back up to 6 million plus to see success. I think we got to get back north of 5, or we got to see enough people leave the industry. Which honestly, I don't think we're going to see the massive exodus that a lot of people are predicting, because the work from home environment has made it easier to stay in real estate part-time. You can now pick up gigs. You can pick up a work from home gig that still allows you to do real estate on the side. Like, I think that is the new reality. And the LPT model is built to help empower people that are in that position. Like, we see that as where things are going. And so if we recognize that we're gonna keep a higher or more elevated number of agents in the industry overall, which means there is going to be more competition for each individual transaction. But as we do come out from the kind of the 4.5 number or wherever we end up to that 5 plus, there is going to be a boost there, and you're going to see your efforts start to yield more. And what I believe is that the people who do put in the work now, they're going to get the bulk of that extra 500,000 in sales, or that extra 700,000 in sales that happens as we come out of this bottom of this trough. Because working hard now is what a lot of people are not going to do.
That's right.
Which is going to set you up to ride the wave back up. And then riding that wave momentum up is what allows you to then get momentum in your business to ride that boom all the way up. And then what are we going to do? We're going to be preparing for the next bust.
That's right.
Because they will come. And so now is the time to focus on growth. Now is the time to focus on getting out there in the community, opening up new farms, opening up new relationships, getting out there and meeting new people, joining new organizations. Now is the time to do that. But guess what? This is the absolute hardest time to do those things, because we're not going to see the reward. We're going to say, man, back in 2021, when I joined a new group, I got deals almost immediately. Or when I started farming a new neighborhood, I got deals almost immediately. And now I'm not getting that. That's okay. Again, we're planting the seeds to ride the wave back up. But now is absolutely the time that you have to stay focused on planting those seeds, building those new relationships, even though there is no immediate reward. And that's where mindset comes into play. And you're going to go home tired and worn out, and you're going to feel like you're failing at times, and you're going to feel like it's not working, and you're going to feel like you're doing it wrong, or I can't make this work. I don't understand why I can't make it work, when in reality, It is working. You're just not seeing it happen yet. You're not seeing the results. There is a longer lag time right now to the effort you put in turning into the reward of the transaction, of the listing, of the contract. And the longer rates stay high, the longer that is going to continue to stretch out. But it doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean it's not working. The relationships you build, the seeds you plant, the collateral you drop off, the 9 Critical Questions magazine you put in someone's hand, the active marketing plan you give to that seller today, all of these things are working. They're working at the same level they would have worked at in 2020 and 2021, but you're not seeing it because the amount of time it's taking people to transact is extending out. Why? Because they're waiting for rates to come down. They're waiting for the market to crash. They're waiting for whatever they're waiting for. And we can't control that. And we can try to push through some of that. We can try to help educate them as to why it's better to buy now and not wait for rates or whatever else. But at the end of the day, no matter how much we educate or what we do, their human nature is going to be to wait. And we're seeing that. And it's why there are going to be less than 5 million home sales this year in the U.S. because a lot of people have that idea. And again, whether it's right or wrong, and we know how wrong it is their belief. It's their self-limiting belief. And unfortunately, I can't get into all of their living rooms every Monday to help them understand why this is a terrible idea and why they should go transact today. And so they are going to wait. But you planting the seeds, you putting those right things into effect today is absolutely the right move. And you have to fight off the feeling of failure. And look, you're going to have months where you have no closings. It's part of it. You're going to be like, man, I did all this work and I have nothing to show for it. You may get external pressure from your family, right? You know, parents, a husband, a spouse, someone who cares about you that says, man, because look, I went through this, like, man, Robert, you are killing yourself. You are working 100 hours a week and it's not working. You're not making any money. You know, the deals aren't going up. There was this point early on at RP Funding where we could not break 60 closings a month. Like, we just could not. It just would not. No matter what we did, we could not get over this magic number of 60 closings a month. And I was like, we're going to break 60. I'm going to work twice as hard. I'm going to do all these things. And I remember for like 4 or 5 months, I was just killing myself. Like literally probably 14-hour days, 16-hour days, almost no sleep. You know, didn't have kids at the time. Jill and I were dating. And I would come home, or she would kind of like pull me aside and be like, you are killing yourself and it's not working, right? Like, I'm worried about you. Like, I'm worried about your health. I'm worried about your sanity. I am worried about you as the person I love because you are doing all these things and you're getting discouraged and you're feeling bad because that 60 number is just not getting broken. The result isn't there. I see all the effort and I know you're giving all the effort, but the result is just not happening. And she was coming from a place of love. Like, she wasn't trying to discourage me. She cared about me. And so again, people who care about you are going to look at this and say, you're killing yourself, but you didn't have a closing last month. You're killing yourself. It's just not working. You need to rethink about it. And now we have to educate them because they have to understand what our industry is going through and why we are putting the work in today to set ourselves up for success in the future, because the results will come. And that is the hardest thing to stay committed to, is I'm going to keep doing the right things each and every day because I believe the results will come. And I sit here today as proof to you that the results did come. Right? They didn't come immediately. It wasn't easy. It got so bad that, you know, my girlfriend, now wife, was worried about my health, my sanity, you know, because of how bad it was, because I was putting out the effort with no immediate results, because we were in one of these busts at the time and I could not move the needle. You will go through that, and you have to fight through that, and you have to understand that the results will come. We just don't know when.
That's right.
And so that's the other piece, is you have to be able to survive until the results do come. Because what I'm not telling you to do is to just put in 20 hours of work every day with nothing for yourself. And I had to learn balance. Because if I was going to work hard for 3 or 4 weeks, finally Jill was like, hey, let's go down and do a staycation. Let's go down to the Waldorf Astoria on the south side of Orlando and get a room and spend a couple days by the pool. Like, come unplug with me. And that's something that she taught me. And so that every 4 or 5 or whatever it was, 20, 25 days of straight crazy work that I would do, she would get me to go decompress, because her point was, if you don't make it to when the results do come, then what was the point? And so you've got to put in the work. You've got to stay focused. You got to stay committed. But you also have to recognize you do have to still be there and functioning and sane when the results do come, and not running out of money, and not, you know, losing everything financially because you went too all in for too long. So there is a balance. but you have to understand the results will not come immediately. Stay focused, stay committed, but recognize and have a plan to survive until the results do come, because they will come. I promise you that. There is no amount of, you put enough work over enough time, the results will come. Just like with real estate. 2008, home prices crashed. I owned like 10 or 15 properties. I kept every one of them. By the time I sold them all in the last 24 months, I made a ton of money on every one of them, right? With enough time, it will correct itself in the real estate market. With enough time, the results will absolutely come from the work you put in, but it's never on our time frame. It's never on our timetable, and it's never on an easy timetable, because guess what? If it was on an easy timetable, everybody would be doing it. We would have 3 times as many realtors in this country. We would have even more people out there doing it, because if the results came instantly, it would be so easy to jump in and do this, but it's not. It's hard. We are in a hard industry. It is hard because we have to believe in this delayed gratification. We have to believe in ourselves enough to keep putting in the work, and that is what separates those of us that will win together, like me and you and all of us here at LPT Realty, from the folks that aren't going to make it. And it is that ability to stay focused and believe and do the hard things today, do the things we hate today, do the things we don't. Like, I do the hard thing first. I do the thing I dislike the most first. Like when you talk about empty the box, pick the item you hate the most and you put that one out first, because once you put the one you hate out first, everything else in that box becomes easy. If you hate door hangers and think door knocking is stupid, start with the door hangers, right? If you think writing thank you cards is stupid, then I want you to write the thank you cards first, right? These are the types of commitments we have to make.
That's right, man. That's deep, man. And one thing that I want to just make sure everyone understands is when you're going through these cycles, the confidence you have now is not the confidence that you had when you went through the first one. The only reason why you have confidence now is because you've successfully made it through this multiple times. And so you understand what's happening. But through each one of those times, you have massive payrolls, man. There's millions of dollars a month in payroll, and that is a lot of pressure. So it's not unique to just you who may be trying to get your business off the ground. It is what we all are connected to. Everyone has to go through the same emotions. Again, do not make decisions based on your emotions. Make the decisions that move you forward. And oftentimes, those are the hardest emotions to deal with. It's going to be the tired, the scary, all of the ones that you don't want to deal with. The good ones that feel good, that's where everyone sits, right? Those are the easy ones, right? Do things that make you feel good. Do the things that make you feel scared, make you feel vulnerable. And and when you think about your goal setting, it's the same exact thing. Set the goals that scare you. If you set a goal that's you're going to achieve, that's not the right goal. You have to set the goals that are going to push you out of your comfort zone, and you don't have the ability to do it today. That's why it's a goal. You're going to be working towards the progress of getting there.
All right, guys, I hope you got some really big value out of that like AJ and I did. Again, it's just really insightful to hear a lot of these talking points coming from someone that has the depth of experience and knowledge that Robert does. And, he's proof that this works. And so I think that's the key here is all the things that Robert talks about, he talks about because they're things that he has used in his own life to get to where he is. And so I think we can all take a good lesson from that and follow his lead. So the next thing, and so again, mindset's one of the big things that Robert talks about, but he's also very, very good at keeping us up to date on what's going on in the global market and the national market and some of our smaller markets, so that we really kind of understand what's going on in real estate. Our job is to sell real estate, and so understanding kind of the bigger things that are at play so that we can help our buyers and our sellers make more educated decisions about what they should do and how they should navigate this market. And so Robert's going to talk next about some macroeconomic things that are going on. He's going to talk about some reports coming out from national home builders, which I think will be very insightful for you, as well as some updates with the Fed and some predictions about what may be happening with mortgage rates here over the next 12 to 18 months. So a lot of value here. Get a pen and paper. There's probably some things you're going to want to take notes on, and we'll go ahead and kick it over to Robert.
So last week we had Lennar report, and I'm always saying watch the new home builders because it's going to give you what's happening at the macro scale. It doesn't give you all the answers, but it does give you some peek into buyer demand. And so Lennar reported last week, and they basically said that they've had to incentivize a little bit, and that's coming from like, hey, we're offering, by buying points, we're giving incentives inside the homes, and that works out to be about a total of 10% from their peak. So, hey, if I'm selling a house at $500,000, they are about 10% down from there, including rate buy downs and incentives. And so that's what's happening. We have KB Homes, who's going to be reporting this Wednesday, and we're going to get another look at a national home builder, and we're going to be able to at least see, is consumer demand waning at all, right? Which is ultimately what the Fed wants. We are 40% up since the pandemic starts. That is obviously makes it very unaffordable for a lot of people. And so the Fed's going to continue to try to stomp that out and really make sure that the inflation, which affects more things than just real estate, but particularly for us in real estate, is going to be really at a more manageable pace. So we'll hear from them Wednesday. What are you thinking that we hear from Fed Chair this Wednesday?
Yeah, so here's the really interesting thing. The Fed thought that by raising rates, they would stifle buyer demand, which they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like buyer demand is not where it was in 20 and 21. What they underestimated was the lock-in effect. They underestimated the idea that with rates this high, less homeowners are going to be willing to sell. This idea of saying, hey, I've got a 2.5 rate, I don't want a 7.75 rate, so I'm just going to stay put. I'd like to move. It'd be nice to move, but I just can't make the numbers make sense. And the Fed underestimated how dramatic of an impact that would be. And so we're having a lot of conversations here internally around these builders' reportings because the builders are not constrained by that. The builders are building as much as they can. They have the inventory they need to sell. And so we can get a much better idea of where is buyer demand by looking at the home builders, because we can't actually tell where buyer demand is on the existing home sales because it's being more restricted by the lack of inventory than it is by a lack of buyers. Now, again, buyer demand is way down, luckily, or else home prices would be even crazy higher. If we still had 6.5 million buyers fighting over 4.5 million sales this year, that would be crazy. We don't have that. That's not how much imbalance we have. Or maybe there was 8 million buyers back in 2020 getting 6 million homes, and now we have 8 million trying to get 4.5 million homes. So we watch the home builders because of that. And so again, buyer demand is down. We saw buyer demand really, really drop when rates go north of 7. And so if you think about what's happened this year, rates went up to 7 like into last year, beginning of this year, and they came down. People thought inflation was going to get in check. People thought the Fed was going to crack. Mortgage rates came back down into high 5s, 6s, and we actually saw home prices dip a little when that happened. Like if you really dig into the data, when rates came down, home prices dipped just a tad because more sellers all of a sudden were willing to go on the market, and the buyer demand didn't react as instantly as the sellers did. The sellers seem to be much more in tune with where rates are because they have a rate to walk away from. But now that we're back up north of 7 and getting into the deep 7s, I mean, it's ugly right now.
Yeah.
And and the 10-year is set a new high at like 11 o'clock last night. Yes, I watch this stuff 23 hours a day. Unfortunately, it's like 11 o'clock last night. The 10-year Treasury hit a new high. Mortgage rates are worse today than they were and really have been in a very long time. And so we are seeing that restrict volume. We're seeing existing home sales come down more now because you have less people willing to list because of that rate gap, and you are starting to see buyer demand get crunched as well. And even with all the builders buy downs and 2-1 buy downs and discount points, they're starting to feel it now too, which is what we're seeing in their reporting. I think the real reality here is that the Fed is going to have to crush inflation outside of real estate because the very tools they are using to crush inflation are making home prices go higher. Mm-hmm. It has lowered the number of homes being sold, which means there's less moving trucks, and less real estate commissions and less new alarm system hookups and all these other things that feed the economy. So it's not the same impact if we had 6 million homes a year selling at record prices that we're going to see this year. And so I don't think it's as big of a deal. While the percentage change is big, I think the Fed is going to kind of say, you know what, we've lost the war on home prices for now. We're going to have to tackle that later. We've got to stay focused on cars, consumer goods, food, everything else, and energy they can't control. The Fed raising rates does not impact oil prices, which are going higher. So you've got energy going up. So there's all this messy data. The Fed is going to talk to us this week. My gut says that we're not going to see any more hikes, but I do believe the Fed is going to push out on the dot plot further down the road as to when they're going to start cutting rates. And that's really the big question now. I think the current rate is kind of terminal. I don't think we're going higher, but the difference between them keeping this rate this high for 1 year versus 2 years versus 3 years, that is what drives interest rates. Because if you think about it right now, the 10-year is actually lower than the Fed's overnight rate because bond investors are banking on the fact that a 10-year Treasury, right? That means
I got to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who understand what you just said.
Okay.
So you're going to have to unpack that. So
the 10-year Treasury which is the yield you get paid for owning a government bond for 10 years, is 4.3. Okay, but the Fed overnight rate is paying 5.25, so it's less. Normally that's the opposite, right? Like back when the Fed rate was at 0, the 10-year Treasury was still like in the low ones, and so usually there is a premium because of lock-in. But what people are saying is they believe that over the next 10 years, because that's what you're doing, you're investing for 10 years. And when we make someone a 30-year mortgage, while they're not going to keep that mortgage for the whole 30 years, they're probably going to keep it for 10 or 12 years. And so when these bond owners or mortgage rate investors, MBS investors, are deciding the rate they want to pay on the debt, which is what drives the rate the consumer gets to borrow at, they're saying, well, what do we think rates are going to be over the full 10-year window? Because they're saying, yeah, right now the Fed is paying 5.25 on overnight debt. That's great. The 2-year Treasury, the yield curve is inverted, which means that the 2-year yield is higher than the 10-year yield. That you'll hear people say, oh, the yield curve is inverted. That's what that means. The shorter term debt has a higher rate than the longer term debt because everyone's banking on rates being lower during years 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of that equation. Or maybe they're banking on rates being lower during years 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of that 10-year Treasury. Well, if the Fed keeps rates higher for 5 years, and they say, well, wait a minute, we're going to have high rates for 5 years and then low rates for the back 5 years only instead of the back 7 years, mortgage rates will go up. So at this point, it's less about the Fed raising or lowering, and it's more about how long the Fed is going to keep rates high. That is what's going to drive mortgage rates over the next 18 to 24 months.
You know what I really love the most is when Robert talks about economics, because it's kind of one of those things that, you don't know what you don't know. And those are one of those things that we should know that we don't know. That's really important. And so it's really awesome on Mondays. That's one of the things that I love the most, because that's not something I always really focused on or that I even understand. A lot of the stuff just goes over my head. But then when you listen and understand and it's explained to you and you understand the value, what's really cool is now you are armed with tools to have better conversations with your clients, with buyers, with sellers, with your friends, with your family, and even other agents. So that's one of my favorite parts. And this next part's really exciting because we've been going on this state expansion growth. It's a big announcement, big drum rolls. Did you have anything you want to add about economics?
No, I love it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these are the kind of things that are going to set you apart from the 95% of agents who don't take the time or just don't have the availability to get this type of information. So I think that's awesome. But
so next state announced. Ready? Brrr, here we go.
All right. So we are at final time. I think we have made them wait long enough.
Man.
Let's go to state announcement. If you are ready, sir, I will let you do the honors.
All right, so we're going to announce the state. This state will officially open on October 1st. So what is that? That is, what is that, 12 days from today?
Yeah, 12 days.
So I'm going to announce the state today. The state will open in 12 days. So again, for the next 12 days, you've got to keep putting people on your wait list, but they will know that on 10/1, we will start onboarding agents into this state. We've onboarded a few agents as a part of a soft launch. We had to do that because some people's old brokerages like to kick them out when they find out they're coming to LPT. We have onboarded a few agents, a few teams already, but from here forward, 10/1 is the day. So if you know someone in this state, get them ready to sign that ICA and get ready to be onboarded on October 1st in the great state of Graphic Davy, South Carolina.
All right.
The 8th states in the LPT Realty growth and world domination takeover.
Awesome.
So meet your folks in South Carolina. We will officially launch on October 1st. After October 1st, you all can start having LPT branded events. We'll have corporate rallies. We'll onboard everyone. You can start spreading the word now. You can use the wait list from now till then. But October 1st, we will officially launch our 8th state in the great LPT empire on 10/1, South Carolina.
Look at Dave. You put that in the lower third. Boy, you on.
Yeah.
Man, he's doing it.
You got to scroll down so I can see the 40 new messages, Dave. 44 new messages, 45 new messages.
Awesome.
Yeah, everybody go out there and have a great week. Keep doing the hard things. Eat the frog, tackle the tough stuff first. Stay focused, stay committed. Recognize that the results will come. We don't know when, we don't control when, but we do control the actions we take each and every day. We control our emotions. We don't control what other people do to try to piss us off or upset us or get us off our game, but we do control how we are going to react to those things.
Right.
So take control of your life. Take control of the actions and know the results will come. Take control of your reactions and emotions and know that in the end you will win. And let's go out there and make it a great week. We're going to be, next week, we're going to be in LA for FubCon. We're going to be down in Miami for NAREP. I'll be speaking, having 2 sessions at NAREP. So if you are going to be there, I'd love to come have you check it out. I'll be on a CEO panel for the new NAREP incoming Board of Trustees or Board of Directors members. And then I'm also going to teach a class on collateral marketing as a part of that. So that'll be in Miami at NAREP at the end of the month. Other than that, go have a great week. Go sell some real estate. Go make some friends. Go spread the word. And each and every one of you are special. We're proud to have you here at LPT Realty, and we are going to keep winning together.
That's right. Awesome.
All right, guys, state expansion. The next state here, South Carolina, has officially been announced. And spoiler alert, these Motivational Monday videos were not quite up to speed on getting them out exactly when they are. So we actually announced South Carolina like 2 weeks ago officially. We're just a little behind on filming these, but we wanted to cover it just because it was in here. But hope you guys found that information useful if you hadn't already known that. So really appreciate you guys joining us today. And again, I hope you see the value of this type of call that we get to do every single week. And again, we don't put the entire call in here. These are kind of the highlights and the best parts that we think are going to be most helpful, both for agents that are here at LPT and for agents just out there in general who don't have access to this type of knowledge. So we appreciate you joining us. If you'd like the full access to this, go ahead, join LPT. You get a plug in with Robert live every single week. There's a comment section. You can drop comments in there, and it's really useful. So really appreciate you guys tuning in. If this type of environment, this type of culture is something that you would like to be a part of and you're interested in partnering with us here at LPT Realty, check the link down in the description below. I'm going to leave a link for a one-on-one private Zoom call you can set up with AJ and myself. We'd love to get to know you a little bit more, learn about your business, learn about some of your goals, see if LPT might be the right fit for you, and if so, are we the right sponsor? So hopefully we have an opportunity to connect with you on that. AJ, anything else before we go?
Let's grow.
Awesome, guys. We'll see you on the next one.